Welcome back to Just Fantastic Crafts channel. Today we're back playing something new. This game is called Odyssey, the Invention of Science. And it's one of those games that, as I said, I bought as a bundle for the channel. These are gonna be the other two. This is the Tuesday video, and the other one will be of this game will be on the Thursday? Yeah, Thursday's video. And from next week there might be Junkyard Truck should be returning, and with it maybe some Satisfactory because it got updated to 6. And let's see where this game leads us. There is supposed to be voices in the game. I mean, there was a voices option.
Mayday! 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 This is a distress call from the Wretched Islands. We got attacked by sailors. They think there's actual buried treasure here, and they sunk our boat to force us to find it. Our radio is barely working, so if you can hear me, that means you're close. Please don't leave to find help. There's no time. Come pick us up yourself. Now, please, listen carefully. This is really important. There are lots of little islands, but you have to dock at the pier on the east side of Wretched Minor. Don't try to land anywhere else or you'll crash. And we can't meet you at the pier. We won't know you're there, and those sailors are coming back, so we're hiding. We made a lot of barricades to protect ourselves, but we designed them for someone to get through. I could tell the sailors weren't very clever and didn't care about science, but you'll be able to figure it out. You'll see what I mean when you get here. I really hope someone's out there listening to this recording. All the obstacles we made won't keep those sailors away forever, and when they find us and see we haven't found any treasure, not the kind they want anyway, I don't want to think about what'll happen, but if you're listening to me now, that means the radio still has enough juice to transmit, so there's probably still time, but if you don't get us off these wretched islands, and soon, no one will.
Okay. Look, walk. I am looking. Can I go back to my boat? I actually do own quite a nice yacht. Okay. So I know nothing about this game. What? Expedition to the Wretched Island, Cairo H13, that's Sid Mom. Now that we're about to begin our Odyssey, that wants me to start a journal to record what I learned and everything that happens. Both my parents and are university professors, so even the summer vacation to me is my 15-year-old brother. See, it is like school. It's fun though, especially this summer because my classroom won't have any walls, and it's in the Caribbean. That's an archaeologist where he's wanted to visit the Wretched Islands for years, but it's illegal for lots of reasons, from endangered species to volcanic activity to deadly coastlines, and it's hard to get to since it's surrounded by jagged rocks. Dad finally got permission, and we're going there for some preliminary work before bringing his army of graduation students. We flew here to Martinique for 4 days ago to rent a boat, get supplies, and pick up our guide, Gullium. His real job is being a fisherman, but a year ago he got shipwrecked on the Wretched Islands and somehow survived it and lived there a week until a helicopter saw smoke from his campfire. It made news since he's the only person who's been on the islands in decades, so Dad asked him to come with us and he agreed. Dad says it's an unusual site because it has so many layers. For hundreds of years islands Caribs lived there until one day in the late 1600s pirates came with guns. They took over and set up a base for decades before being driven out of by the Royal Navy. The islands were left alone until the US Army built an outpost there in the World War II, mainly as a lookout. Then it got protected status, and it's been off limits ever since. Damn, that's a lot of reading. Except for us now, when we get there. We're sleeping on the boat since so we can just wake up and go at like 4 in the morning. Both the wind and current are against us, so it will take a few days, even using the motor. Until then, we're looking at photos of the island from airplanes, satellites. That doesn't look at them with us. He's already looked at them hundreds of times. The wind was high and the waves were choppy most of the past couple of days, but when the sun set, everything calmed. Galom was good with boats, so that's letting him do most of the driving. He's also doing most of the eating, which is usually Sid's job, but he seems happy to get Golem to do that too. Sitting on the bow with my legs dangling off the edge, Sid came and sat with me. He pointed out how flat the ocean looked. He said he could see why people got laughed at thousands for years ago for saying the world was round. When you're in the city or the mountains, you can't tell by looking around what shape the whole world is. We take it for granted today that the Earth is a sphere, but Sid's right. Here on the ocean it looks like completely flat and goes on forever. Why did anyone back there ever think it wasn't? I mean, how could they figure it out without inventing planes and rockets or even ships to go around the world and see for themselves? Mom and Dad were behind us listening. Mom said she bet I could figure it out, but always says stuff like that. I asked her how, and she just laughed and said she's just the construction crew. Dad's in charge of historical mysteries. It's true she's a civil engineer, but she knows more science than anyone I know. But Dad also knows history, so maybe she's right that he'd be more help on this one. I asked him how people figure out the Earth isn't flat and doesn't go off to infinity in all directions. He just smiled and said, keep your eyes open and your brain in gear. Land ho! July 4th. Now we can see the wretched island, though not all of them. If we had fireworks, I'd set them off to celebrate seeing land, and because it's the 4th of July, we do have a lot of cool equipment and supplies, but nothing like that. I'm documenting the trip with my camera to my friend thinks it's funny that I have a digital camera, not just my phone, but phone cameras aren't good at taking pictures of things far away. We know we're in the right place because our GPS tells us where we are. We're 5 kilometers out. When we're 5 kilometers out, we drop anchor for the night. Approaching the island will be tricky, so we want to do it with plenty of daylight. We'll go first thing in the morning. I don't know how we'd gotten here without GPS. Mom said the North Star is like ancient GPS. It's called Polaris because it's over the North Pole, and I already know how to find it. 2 stars of the Big Dipper point at it. They're easy to find, and this is actually, I think, this is how I'm supposed to solve the puzzle. Point at it. They are easy to find at home because you can't see as many other of the stars with all the city lights out at sea. There are so many stars, it's harder to find constellations, so it's so beautiful. I've taken dozens of pictures at times of night, like when I wake up and I can't fall back asleep. Polaris. A picture of Polaris, the North Star. Mom said if it's cloudy and you can't see stars, a magnetic compass will tell you where north approximately is, but North Star is better because points exactly north. That's pretty cool, but I'm glad we have the GPS, and that's it. I have to. So this is the Big Dipper, and how was it? North. It isn't this one. It isn't this one. It's this one, I think. Yep. I just forgot what side I had to look at. Okay, that's gonna be a fun little game, this one. Let's see, after 9 minutes of doing nothing, what I can do in this game. Okay, space. I am not allowed to jump in this game. Noted. The water looks amazing. I see a house up here. I don't know what direction I'm supposed to be going. I just went in this direction. Oh. A giant puzzle piece. Okay. Not gonna question that one, but fruits and other stuff. I'm guessing that we were just on some sort of a vacation or something. Okay, so the pickaxe is used to break wooden barricades. I don't know where I'm going. The game saved. It's supposed to be a puzzle game, this thing, if I didn't mention that. And so I will just be going around the place. Wait, I think I went unintentionally. I went the right way. Let's go back and see what I missed on the beach, because this thing looks like it's the proper way forward and I don't wanna continue forward immediately. I wanna see, I don't know if there are collectibles, if there is anything else other than, look, a path. Where does this path lead? Only one way to find out. Oh, it leads behind the house. Okay, so I didn't miss a thing. Let's go left, because that's where I have decided to go. I will need puzzle, and I also can make the movement speed, well, faster. Okay, so that's a bridge I need to, well, fix or straighten up. Let's see what else we can find. A box. And we all know how boxes work. You get them and you break them. I'm guessing that this is like a tutorial zone, and there is not gonna be much in the way of, well, hard puzzles or anything. It is a ladder. It is the ladder. Amazing. I just wanted to do some exploration. I was just looking around. Wow. Oh look, a generator. I'm guessing it requires a key. I'm guessing it requires a lot more than a key. Yep. So for now we are unable to do anything. Did I miss something? So this generator, okay, I'm not going to be touching. Stop it. So yeah, this is this is because I went left. Let's go then the other way, which is, let me guess, right. This is the way I didn't go. It is right, and it was probably the right way. Get it? Cause right. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. You, can I light you? No. I don't know anything about this game. Never seen it. Never watched it. I just read that it was a puzzle game and it had some okay reviews. And I said, well, it's part of the bundle. It would usually cost me a lot more to get. So yeah, that's why I. Okay, I'm about to solve this, I guess. Okay. You, what are thou? Yay, journal updated, exactly what I wanted. Another dinner, after dinner, not another dinner, after dinner that asked if I'd seen anything that would tell me the earth doesn't go off infinity in all directions. I hadn't, but it seemed obvious to me that it couldn't. If that at sunset, if it did, at sunset, the sun would crash into the earth. That said, ancient people had different ideas. Some believed the sun disappeared behind distant mountains in the west and traveled around out of sight to rise in the east. Others believed the gods had the sun in a boat at sunset and ferried it across the ocean at night to rise again from the east. But if you thought the sun was hidden in a boat all night, that could convince you that it was wrong. That told me to look at the photos I'd taken of the stars. Sun got dry in his boat. I knew Polaris didn't move in the sky, but the rest did, and that's what that told me to look at. Comparing photos, I could see the stars closest to Polaris moved in a little circle around it. Every star seemed to move in a circle around Polaris, and the further away the star was from it, the bigger its circle. Most stars were far enough away from Polaris that you couldn't see their whole circle because for part of it the star dipped below the horizon. And they show this. And with constellations, if some of their stars traveled in boats across the sea after setting or went behind the mountains or travel around them, their trajectories during that period would be different from the other stars in their constellation that always stayed in the sky. That would mess them up. If it was far more reasonable to think that everything in the sky traveled in complete circles and horizon just stopped you from seeing it all. So the earth couldn't go on forever in all direction. This also meant that there was space all around the earth, not just above it, for the stars to be able to go around it. When I explained this to Dad, he was impressed. He said this was a reasonable argument to show that the earth size was finite. How could I show that the earth wasn't flat? At first sight, just before sunrise, we weighed anchor and started the engines, but it still took a couple of more hours to get to the wretched island. That's letting Galoom steer. I don't know that name. Anyway, when we got on course, Dad asked me if I had seen anything to show that the earth wasn't flat. I hadn't. And again, he said to get my camera. But this time, look at the pictures I'd taken of the islands. I had lots. Some were just tops of island peaks and others showed more. That asked me to describe the differences. Told him the islands got bigger as we got close and we can see more of them too. I asked what I meant by seeing more, and I showed her how when we were far away we only saw the mountain tops, because the horizon blocked our view of the bottom. That was it. When you get further away from something it gets smaller, but also the horizon blocks more and more of its bottom. That would only happen if the ocean is curved. I figured that problem was solved, but Dad said not quite. A few minutes later the sun rose, and when it was halfway up, he asked me why the horizon line across the sun wasn't curved. I said the earth is so big that it just looks straight for a short distance across the sun. Dad shook his head. Early people didn't know the earth was so big, but even if they thought it might be, they believed if the world was round enough to block the bottom of mountains just a couple of dozen kilometers away, it would be round enough to see it curve across the sun. They said the ocean blocked the bottom of mountains and ships because the earth was curved a bit here and there locally, but the straight horizon line at sunrise and sunset proved the earth as a whole was flat. Wait, what? The straight horizon line at sunrise and sunset proved the earth as a whole was flat. Sid teased me, nice try Kai, you've got a long way to go to prove to Dad that the Earth is a sphere. This is just the beginning. I don't know what he means, but I think I'm going to find out soon. How much longer of this? Oh my goodness. We're still sailing the rest of the way to the wretched islands. I just argued with Dad that because of the horizon curves, the base of a mountain, that means the Earth is round, and a straight horizon across the sun makes it look flat. So it's a tie between the round and flat Earth views. Except not really, because the straight horizon doesn't prove anything. A basketball looks very round, but when you put your eye close to it, the edge looks a lot straighter. The horizon just looks straight because we're so close to the Earth's surface. Horizon of basketball appears flat to a tiny insect. What an interesting idea. Dad seemed pleased with my argument, but he said ancient people had other reasons to believe the Earth was flat. If the Earth were a sphere, then people on the exact opposite side, which the Greeks called antipodes, would be upside down with their feet above their heads. Why wouldn't they fall off? And what was keeping the whole world from falling down? Dad asked me if I could think of a way to make sense of this without talking about modern ideas like gravity. These were very strange ideas. If they thought a round Earth would fall, wouldn't they think a flat Earth would also if they thought a round Earth would fall, wouldn't they also think a flat Earth would also fall? But Dad said they'd believe the flat Earth floated on water underneath it, like a giant piece of wood, or maybe the ground just went down forever. But a round Earth couldn't float in empty space without something holding it up, and surely antipodes couldn't stand upside down under the Earth. Flat Earth on floating on water. And in this thing I remember about the Terry Pratchett's world, where it's a giant turtle which has 4 giant elephants on it, and then the disc world is sitting on top of that. That is probably one of the older ideas. I need to spend more time thinking about this, but later. Right now we're just minutes away from the wretched islands. And with this, I am going to continue reading a whole boatload of things in the next one. For now, thank you for joining me, and have a great day.